Objection! Hello everybody, I'm MasterCode, your ace analyst, and today we'll be delving into one of the biggest mysteries since the release of the G5 movie. In A New Generation, we saw how magic no longer existed, and the three pony tribes had separated with heavy xenophobic tendencies towards one another. We were never given any real insight of what occurred to cause this separation and the collapse of the utopia under Twilight's rule. And in lieu of the elements of harmony, we now have these three gemstones that are now the artifacts of power in modern Equestria, with one of only few clues to the past being the stained glass window. So with that being said, what happened to Twilight? Did she directly create these gems? And if she did, why? Well, let's take a trip to the past and see if we can theorize what led to Twilight and the creation of the three gemstones. With Cozy, Tyrek, and Chrysalis defeated, Equestria was ushered into a utopia with all creatures living in harmony with one another and entering a new age of prosperity and peace. Now, realistically, not everyone in Equestria is gonna play nicey nice, and therefore, there would be those willing to take advantage of such a kind, ideological society. But the overall state of relationships between most creatures will be that much stronger. And of course, we have Twilight and her friendship council who would reconvene every moon to ensure everything is going well in Equestria and quell any issues that arise. And I imagine they continue this tradition all throughout Twilight's rule. Well, at least the duration of the main six's lifespan. So what does happen when the last of the current elements passes away? Does Twilight go out and actively seek a new set of bearers? Perhaps an ambassador from every other race in Equestria? Or does Twilight simply vacate the idea of acquiring new champions of harmony in favor of something else? Something like the gemstones created for the three pony tribes? But why? Such a decision initially seems odd, as the whole philosophy of her rule and Equestria itself is predicated around the elements of harmony and the magic of friendship. Perhaps realizing their mortality, the girls came together one day and decided to seek out new bearers to take their place. It seems like a rather simple task, as again during the last problem, creatures were in harmony with one another, so finding individuals to take their place should be a breeze, right? Even in Season 10 of the MLP comics, it was revealed that there were multiple trees of harmony scattered throughout the world with traits unique to every race. So with all these options available, again the question is, why create these gemstones? Why limit the power of friendship that any creature can represent and harness to simply being utilized by just the three pony races? Well, perhaps the solution lies with the evolution of technology. With TV, phones, and various other mechanized creations, modern Equestria is comprised of a wide range of technology that very much reflects our own modern society. And with the evolution of technology as is, we can assume that by the end of the main six lifespan, there were some significant advancements as well. Maybe not to the extent as we saw in the G5 movie, but enough to make some impactful improvements in various aspects of society. Point is, with such grand prosperity and inventions making life easier and no baddies to contend with, magic essentially becomes forgotten. Which is weird, as with the eventual loss of magic, how would modern Equestria function? Earth pony magic helps crops thrive, Pegasi fly and control the weather, and of course, unicorns use their magic. So how can this world that's relied on magic for years, centuries even, operate without magic? Actually, I have a theory. Let's compare this to the Pixar movie Onward. The worlds of both G4 and Onward were mystical lands with strange creatures and, of course, magic. In Onward, technology eventually became the domineering ideal, and everyone essentially forgot about magic, and thus it wasn't needed anymore, seeing as they now have all the modern conveniences to perform everyday tasks. In G5, we see such examples of advanced technology from the numerous machines in Maritime Bay to the entertainment empire that is Zephyr Heights. Maybe during the years of Twilight's rule, she became enamored with a more automated world, seeing the positives it could offer. However, with the unforeseen consequences of every pony now relying on magic and having it essentially fading away, Twilight, in response to this peril, constructed the Earth Pony Pegasi and Unicorn Gemstones to preserve the power for each race so they could continue to utilize their inherent magic forevermore. Every pony keeps their power, and Twilight saves the day. Happy ending, right? Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at the three gemstones creation from another perspective. A scenario involving a monumental crisis that not only affects the safety and well-being of every citizen, but a threat that is eliminating all magic in Equestria. In the Season 8 finale, we saw Cozy Glow attempt to do just that, but because she didn't truly understand the magic of friendship, her plans were ultimately defeated. Now, years later, Twilight is the only living element remaining, and the threat has stolen nearly all of Equestria's magic, leading Twilight to create these powerful artifacts and preserve the power along with 3 specially chosen ponies who use this magic to quell the threat, and all is right with the world. Minus 1 purple alicorn. Regardless of how magic is lost in Equestria, the end result for Twilight is the same. To create these artifacts that are imbued with all of Twilight's power, she would have to make a rather drastic sacrifice. That being giving up her alicornication, more specifically, her eternal youth and immortality, and returns to her regular mortal self. And she would go on ruling Equestria until the end of her days, thus ending the legacy of Twilight Sparkle. So those are my theories about what happened with Twilight and the creation of the 3 gemstones. If you guys have any thoughts or ideas for Twilight or the gemstones, post them down in the comments below so we can see your perspective. Well, that's it for today, guys. Until next time, and see ya!